And then at that time, I will pop the captioning link in the chat.
Still people filing in.
All right, fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
it usually takes a couple of minutes, and then just another thing, really quick, when you're not talking, your camera off. That makes it a bit easier for our ASL interpreter.
Sure.
Um, wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks rolling in, but it looks like yeah, the number, gotta admit, the number keeps ticking up. If you're
Yeah. Uh, I just figured out a little screen reader hack for being able to tell.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Well,
looks like we're in a decent spot here. Um, okay, fantastic. Good afternoon, and welcome to our February webinar as part of our New York Association on Independent Living webinar series. I'm Blaise Bryant, the communications specialist for the association. Thank you so much for joining us here. This is a really remarkable amount of attendees that we have, as it's around 160 here on the Zoom. This is phenomenal. Um, just a couple of quick housekeeping things before we get to our presenters. Number one, the webinar is being recorded. You will get a recording along with the feedback survey this week. I'm going to shoot for getting that out to you tomorrow, which is Thursday. So there's that. Number two, the chat is disabled. This is for screen reader accessibility. So for questions, please put them in the Q&A box, and we will get to those after after Josh and Zach conclude their presentation, we'll save the last 15, 20 minutes for questions or if there's more time. Um, so that's really it. I'm going to introduce our presenters now. Josh Higgins. He is with the Trauma Informed Network Resource Center, and Zach Borodkin with the Center for Independence of the Disabled New York. Josh is going to go first, so feel free to share your slides there, Josh, and take it away. Anytime, Josh.
You're muted.
Had to unmute myself. You know, the trials and tribulations of Zoom meetings. Nice to see everyone. So glad that there's so many people here. It's the pleasure of my role as the community provider engagement specialist with the New York State Trauma Informed Network and Resource Center to connect with as many people as I can. And so it's so great to see all of the people that have decided to take the time to be here today. I'm very excited to discuss a little overview of the network, very basic introduction. Yeah, we will get rolling. So our story here, we started out as basically a small team that was dedicating their time to figuring out how to advance trauma-informed and equity-centered practices. In 2016, the New York State Office of Mental Health and Coordinated Care Services Incorporated connected and collaborated on what has now become the New York State Trauma Informed Network and Resource Center. We officially launched in 2018. In 2022, there was an increase in funding and we expanded, and that's when I was hired along with many of these smiling people in the picture here. So a little bit about the network. We envision a New York State where all people and their communities can attain wellness and resiliency and have systems and tools to support healing from toxic stress and trauma. We really are a bunch of people that are dedicated. We try to practice what we preach, and our guiding values and principles are they exemplify that. We try to practice in all of our work a sense of safety, trustworthiness. We are fully collaborative. We are geared to empower all New Yorkers, provide peer support, and be trauma responsive in everything that we do. Here's our staff, including myself, the engagement specialist. Our small but mighty team. We do a lot of work, and we will be outlining some of those things right now. So the New York State Trauma Informed Network and Resource Center has tons of opportunities to engage in our network. We are fully collaborative. We have initiatives and we have resources. Everything that we do is completely free of charge, free 99, if you will. To begin, we have an advisory council. Our advisory council is filled with people that have a dedication to uplift trauma-informed practices, personally and professionally. Our council is representative of the diverse identities. They are from all over New York State, from all walks of life, from peers to leadership professionals and everyone in between. Our advisory council, as it currently stands, is here. These are some of our folks and all their wonderful, beautiful faces. We have.
Excuse me, Josh, just one second. In case there are this is Blaze here. In case there are some folks with visual impairments, if you please could just describe the pictures and the slides a little bit more, that'd be helpful.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Um, so, oh, for sure. I'll try my best. On this particular slide, we have an individual who's like writing on a whiteboard. It represents one of our initiatives called Tending the Roots, which I think our next presenter is an instructor, I believe, Zachary. Yeah. And Tending the Roots is a great like entry training to learning more about toxic stress and how trauma can affect us all. We discuss the connections between racism, our environments, and tough experiences, all with the hopes of building the tools and the knowledge to create spaces that are safe and also to heal and become more resilient. I keep hitting the arrow button here. We also have our trust tool, which is a trauma responsive and understanding a self-assessment tool. The trust survey and report are no cost. It is an anonymous, like survey-based tool that helps an organization to learn about where they are on their journey to becoming trauma informed. Along with this tool, we provide some consultation time. So if an organization takes the trust tool, they can consult with one of our senior consultants on best practices, on implementation, and things of that nature. We also have our breath body. We're also partnered with the breath body mind organization. We provide our practices, or excuse me, the breath body mind practices during the week. We actually just released a new schedule for breath body mind, and once I am done with my presentation, I will put that new schedule in the chat. These are great. They are virtual. They are an exercise that is designed to ease stress, calm your mind and body. We offer sessions in English and Spanish. They are free and they are open to all New Yorkers. These practice sessions, there's a slide I'm showing now that shows practice sessions. This has changed. And like I said, I will put our new schedule in the chat right after I'm done with the presentation. One of our other initiatives is the Storytellers in Residence. This is an opportunity for any person that's a resident of this state to apply to become a storyteller in a residence. It's all geared to inspire other people with your story. Storytellers in Residence are members of the general New York community who partner with the trauma-informed network to share stories that include those about trauma-informed practice, resilience, and overall well-being. It's an opportunity to offer your insights and what has guided and inspired your journey. We take rolling applications. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out. And if you look on the network, you can apply as well. I can help guide you through that as well. If you ever have any questions about anything I'm presenting to, I'm always available to talk and help to sort of guide your process and your engagement. We also have quarterly networking meetings. We just had our first one of the year a little while ago. We'll have another one coming up in quarter two. So our quarterly networking meetings are open to all New Yorkers who are interested and who want to learn more about trauma-informed practices. Our meetings are held virtually, and they provide an opportunity for networking, to share resources. We highlight practices and collaboration opportunities around all of this work. Another one of our initiatives is the 10RC on Tour. The 10RC on Tour brings communities together in all regions of the state every year. They are small group events of up to 40 to 50 people, where we bring communities together to talk about trauma-informed practices. We identify ways to elevate trauma-responsive efforts. And we have opportunities to provide we provide a catered lunch. We have community presenters. It's a great opportunity just to share space with people in your community, to have a day where you just talk about things and network, learn more about what people are doing. It is a wonderful event. I'm encouraging everyone here, please, if you have not done so, our directory is a great opportunity to connect with all the things that are going on in the network. Our directory is a way to be listed on our network. You can register as an individual or on behalf of your organization, and it gives people anyone who goes on our website can look. It's aggregatable, where if you're looking for a certain provider, a certain type of service, that people can go and actually just like learn about who's out there. If they're looking for a particular thing, a particular type of service, or a particular organization, it's also a great a tool to locate people that provide training for attending the routes. We are also proud to announce our fourth annual Join the Journey conference. Our annual conference is absolutely amazing. I know I'm slightly biased, but I've been to a lot of conferences in my 40 or however many years I've been doing this work. And it's an amazing conference. This year, we are holding it on September 22nd and 23rd. It is in Saratoga Springs at the Saratoga Hilton. And it is just an amazing, healing, rejuvenating event. There will be a call coming out very soon for people to present proposals for workshops. And after that's completed, we will be providing the public with registration information. So if you're interested in conducting a workshop, there will be opportunities. And if you register for on the network as part of our newsletter or on the directory, you will receive a notification on when all those things go live. So please, please get involved however you feel comfortable. Get listed on our directory, join a BBM session, get involved in our quarterly networking meetings. We have a podcast, we have a newsletter. We're all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And I'm always available personally to answer any questions. I know I can't engage with every single New Yorker, but I'm gonna try. So I think I'm at the end of my presentation here. So yeah, I will be sticking around for the rest of the time, and will be available uh, after our next presentation to answer any questions or anything like that. So I hope I covered everything. Thanks for your time. Yeah, we
Great,
appreciate
Josh. Thanks
it.
so much. Blaze here, and as Zach gets his slides queued up here, just because I can't stand silence. Um, real quickly, with all the heaviness that we're all feeling in the world, with the state of affairs that's happening right now, uh, how has that impacted your services and the need over at the Trauma Informed Network Resource Center.
Yeah, it's really, I think that because we are funded entirely by the New York State Office of Mental Health. We are continuing our work. We are pushing forward, and we're just trying to support people in the challenges that are coming up around that. I know that there's been a lot of ramifications on like funding changes that have affected CCSI, which is like our umbrella organization. And yeah, we're like I would say just from like a personal level, like everyone on our team, we are built for this work, and we're standing strong, and we're trying to support people the best we can, given the challenges that have come up.
Great. Thank you very much. Zach, feel free to share your screen and take it away whenever you're ready.
Okay, so my screen is now shared. My name is Zachary Borodkin. I am a Middle Eastern male with dark brown hair, wearing a white button-up t-shirt, and the title of my slides is called Tending the Roots, Recognizing Trauma and Cultivating Wellness. So a little bit of background before I actually get into the slides. I was first introduced to Tending the Roots a couple of years ago when they came to Sydney, the organization that I work for now, and gave us a presentation on the roots of trauma and the best practices to heal said trauma. And I was immediately drawn to the presentation and wanted to become a presenter. And here we are today. So a little bit of background about Tending the Roots. So basically, they were founded in 2018, known as TINRC, or the New York Trauma Informed Network and Resource Center, as you heard. And their claim to fame has always been about, um, identifying the roots of trauma and not only ways to heal them, but to build community from those methods of healing trauma, so people feel like they have a safe space to go when they encounter or when they experience any sort of trauma. So what I'd like to talk about specifically, and what drew me to this organization in the first place, is an introduction to trauma and toxic stress. So I'm not going to go through every slide of my presentation because it's a very, very long presentation. But what I would like to discuss is racism as a type of trauma in the context of this presentation. So for all of our attendees, first, the slide features a person of color with 3 post-its on their face that say norms, expectation, and society. So it explains what racism is, which is a complex interplay of systemic oppression and acute acts of bigotry and violence, microaggressions and disparities. It results from violence and oppression based on the belief of racial superiority. And these kind of beliefs can lead to effects such as generational trauma, such as depression, and many, many other forms that we experience in our everyday lives. So the next slide is titled "The Trauma of Racism." It shows people marching in the street, holding up signs about wanting access to certain privileges and wanting access to certain freedoms. Racial trauma is distinct from other trauma because it's it itself is rooted throughout our history and throughout our racism. So it's passed down from generation to generation. As I have said before, the various features of racial trauma include microaggressions, chronic stress, collective experiencing, and the most important one, which is generational transmission. So what we do at Tending the Roots is we identify these types of traumas that are experienced through racism, and we try to create collective pathways to healing those traumas, whether it's through the individual or through the community. And we ask people questions. It's not what's wrong with you, it's what's happening to you. It is not what's wrong with communities, it is what have communities experienced. It is not what is wrong with populations, it's what's happened to those populations as a result of those experiences. So this is just one module of a few. Again, I'm not going to go through everything because it is an extensive presentation, but I'm just telling you what we do as an organization and how we use community and the individual to heal traumas like the trauma of racism, which is also very complex in its nature. But it is also, when people have been through it, it is also easy to understand, and therefore it is easy to establish a collective when it comes to healing. So that was just a little bit about what I do and what Tending the Roots does.
Did we lose Zach?
No, you didn't lose me. I'm still here.
Okay. Zach, your audio, because if you were talking, um, it's a little choppy. So if you need to cut your video or turn off your video to preserve the quality,
Or I could
that's
actually stop
totally fine
sharing.
if you well well no, people need to see your slides.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Um,
so if you need to go off camera, um, will that affect you at all, Wanya? I'm just doing some inside logistics here.
No, it's all good here.
Okay.
And the audio was okay for me, by the way, just to let you know.
Okay, maybe okay. I just heard a lot of silence, so I just wasn't sure if there was a little bit of a tech issue. So then proceed as you were, Zach. I'm sorry.
yeah, so I just basically went over one module of the work that Tending the Roots does, but there are six different modules that we use when presenting. And also, presentations are never done in the course of one day because this presentation is so extensive. It's usually done over the course of a couple of days, but the point is that the work we do at Tending the Roots is basically discovering the types of trauma that there are, and then whether it's the individual or the community or an entire population, we articulate different methods of healing based on the type of traumas that are out there. And that's just the work that Tending the Roots does. And, when I gave this presentation before, I actually gave it to a group of students, and I was able to really convey not only the work that I do, but the work that they can do within their own communities and among themselves to pass this information down and um, to maybe become healers and storytellers themselves. But that's just the work that that I do as a member of Tending the Roots. So if you'd like to connect, or if you have any further questions, I'm certainly open. Did the audio cut out, or can you still hear me?
We're good. We're
Okay.
good.
All right. Yeah, because there's a lot of content, and I just want to try to keep it as condensed as possible. That's why.
Yeah, you've got you can go another 20.
Oh, okay. Um, so um, the second module, and I'm going to go over this as briefly as possible, basically talks about the effects of stress on the body and the brain, um, the different kinds of stress. So you have positive stress, stress that is tolerable, chronic toxic stress, and traumatic stress. Then it basically goes into how humans respond to each type of stress and how each response affects the body. So when we are under stress, we go into either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, which is basically fight is loss of temper and defensiveness. Flight is avoiding or fear or anxiety. Freeze is you're basically numb, so you detach, you feel like you want to give up easily, and there's so much trauma that you don't have the ability to make a sound decision. And fawning is basically um, when, hang on one second, is basically when you pay compliments to avoid conflict, but at the same time you have difficulty saying no to try and escape the conflict. So um, one of the things that we work on is short-term solutions. So as you can see here, the picture I'm showing is of a person's brain transmitting waves. There's a blue background, and basically this is what happens when stress occurs in the short term. Physical changes occur throughout the body. There's inability to access thinking, so you have trouble with reasoning or thinking. You might be emotionally reactive, or you might shut down, and you also might think that other people are trying to harm you. You might misperceive their intentions. Um, so then we go to the impact of this kind of stress on the body, and I'm going to go back to the impact of racism on the body. There was discussion of if racism or not can make you sick. It actually can, as there is growing evidence that it can cause inflammation. There can be impact on the arteries, impact on breathing, and there can even be impact on genetic expression, um, which actually ties into what I was talking about before when I said stress can have a traumatic effect that can be passed down generationally. So this is what I was talking about. We are learning that changes may be passed down from parent to child directly, which, as I said before, can affect the genes that control risk for conditions such as obesity, depression, and anxiety. So when a person encounters racism or experiences racism, these are the effects, the long-term effects that can have on the body and on future generations. So the long-term effects I just went over the short-term effects, but the long-term effects are where areas of the brain adapt and develop. The immune system becomes compromised because you feel like you're in fight or flight mode, so you're constantly stressing. There can be a possible extended state of overstimulation, and all of this contributes to how the body changes and how the body adapts in its situation and in its environment. So the third module is wellness, resilience, and healing. So now we're going to talk about how to go about healing from that type of trauma and those type of traumatic responses. So now we move from what's wrong with you to what has happened to you and how you can heal so it becomes what's right with you. Wellness is a process. There are holistic methods involved in wellness. It is the intersectionality of individual factors combined with what is going on around them, so the social factors, and that are the same components that are part of wellness are also part of resilience and healing. So it is not just surviving, it is not just addressing the illness, and it is not just corrective, but is also preventive in its nature. Excuse me. So let's talk about what resilience is. The definition of resilience is the developmental process of adapting despite the context of trauma, the adversity that we face, and the tragedy or threats that produce chronic stress. Resilience is universal. It is teachable. It changes over time, but it is multi-level. It is biological, it is familial, it is communal, and it is societal. So it is not as individualistic as one might think. It is more of a shared response and shared form of healing. So post-traumatic growth is for anyone who's ever been through a traumatic moment in their life. It's not just bouncing back and being fine the next day. It is either talking to someone, or it is looking at your environment around you and seeing what is around you or who is around you to heal from the trauma that you've experienced. The 5 signs that you are healing, what we call post-traumatic growth, are that you develop a sense that new opportunities have emerged from the struggle. You experience closer relationship with specific people who feel a sense of connection to others who suffer. You develop an increased sense of self-worth and a sense of your own strength. You have a greater appreciation for life in general, because you know that there are also resources to help you heal and to help you mend from the trauma you've experienced. And you might also experience a deeper sense of spirituality, and you also might find meaning in yourself and what others have been through, which is how a sense of community and healing and resilience is formed. So just for time's sake, I'm just going to skip through a couple of slides. This video, I encourage you to watch. It basically there's a fox trapped in a hole, and the bear has to find ways to help the fox out of the hole, and they find that they basically say what not to say, what is appropriate to say in a situation like this, because while you might think you have the solution, it might not always fit what the other person is going through. So sometimes it's best to say, I'm glad you're talking about it. I don't know what to say. but let me be that connection to help you get through it. That's what this video is basically about. So what we have discussed is how wellness includes resilience and healing, the capacities that people have for resilience, which varies, that it is possible to recover and heal from trauma, but it is also important to discuss trauma so long as that trauma is being discussed through strengths and assets that can be acquired as a way to heal. And it is also important to establish empathetic and trusting relationships, because those are critical to not just healing in the moment, but healing for the future and sustaining. So basically, the rest of these modules discuss trauma-informed approaches, basically different methods as to how we can approach trauma, and different types of organizational approaches that can help heal trauma as well. But what the most important thing about this module are the 4 R's of trauma that are realize, recognize, respond, and resist. Realize that there is trauma and diversity, and that even if it isn't you who encountered said trauma, there's somebody else that encountered said trauma. Recognize that trauma affects all individuals. Recognize that there are programs and organizations and systems that specialize in healing this kind of trauma and going over different methods of healing. You respond by putting those methods into practice. And when you put those methods into practice, any kind of trauma that you encounter in the future can be easier to resist, because you know your self-worth, you know the worth of your community, and you have organizational and communal support to resist said trauma. So the core values of trauma responsive care are safety, trust, and transparency. Those values are the pillars to not only healing from trauma in the moment, but to sustaining in the future, so that you can help others who've encountered similar trauma. And I'm just going to skip around again for time's sake. So the 5th and final module is in resilience. So as I've been talking about, it is crucial to understand the person affected by the trauma, understand their experience, understand that not everyone's capacity for healing is the same, and that everybody is going to need to heal at their own pace, and it's going to come down to the type of healing that works for them. But it is important to know that these methods and system of healing are available for them if and when they need it. So as you all know, and as I've just went over, there are different types of stresses and there are different types of traumas that we encounter daily. And what this module goes over is how stress occurs and how it affects you, not just physically or psychologically, but biologically, behaviorally, how it impacts how you interact with others, and how it impacts your own behavior. So I'm just going to briefly go over organizational approaches to healing. One way of healing is working with your whole self. When people bring their story, when they share their story, they're also bringing the past and the present into everything they do. So it is important to realize that they have their own history, they have their own situation, they have their own families and friends, and they have their own identity that have all played a role into the story they bring. So it is important to remember that one needs to work with compassion, set healthy professional boundaries, and there needs to be a positive work-life balance with supportive relationships. And the individual or individuals should know that they have experience to draw from and that they themselves have a sense of competence and have a sense of well-being while going through this. Now, you might be asking yourself, how does this benefit my larger organization who gives this type of service to the individual or group? It has a positive impact on your work and your environment. You might see increased attendance at your place of work or at your organization, or you might see new membership of people who heard stories of others and have stories of their own to share and might want to get involved with your work. And if you already have clients, it increases your ability to engage with clients and improve follow through and relationships. And it also decreases turnover and it increases job satisfaction and overall organizational culture. So this basically that basically explains is a condensed version of the work that I do and the modules that are used to understand trauma and to guide individuals and individuals and groups through healing so they could be more resilient through their own trauma and pass it down to people who are experiencing traumas of their own. And these are just some resources that you can engage with. And these are print resources that you can engage with. But through the end of it all, I think it's important to reflect on what you've learned, understand that there are individuals and organizations that do this and that can help transform the practice of healing. And from what you've learned or from what you've heard, ask yourself, what actions will you take, or what actions will you take to your place of work or to your organizations as a way to adopt in your own practice or your organizational practices to heal, to understand and heal from said traumas.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, perfect.
Sorry,
Good.
Zach, do you have any, sorry, did I catch you? Do you need another minute to get to a good stopping point, or
No, that
are
was
we at a good
that
one?
was a great stopping point. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much. You can feel free to stop screen sharing right now, and then
Perfect.
we'll get to the Q&A part of this. We have a question that, sorry, I'm dealing with a little bit of a technical problem, actually. And what happened earlier was my headset cut out, so I apologize for any confusion. So there's a question about sharing any resources for employers to support employees in terms of managing trauma.
Yeah, so I actually just shared some of those resources before my presentation ended, but
Right.
we'll be happy to share some of those resources with everyone after the presentation is done. I cannot share my entire my entire presentation because it's a lot of slides. But again, if any individuals want to reach out to me, I can provide my email in the chat, and I'd be happy to share some of those resources.
Yeah, actually, what I'll do is what I'll do, I will, when I send the presentation materials, or when I send the
Okay, great.
recording and the slides out, I always copy the presenters. This is Blaze again from Nile. I should have said that, breaking my own blind etiquette. But I will, I always copy the presenters on the email so you can reach out directly to either Josh or Zach with any questions that we don't get to. So this is your time to put any questions in the Q&A box here. Let's see.
Yeah, this is Josh Higgins again too, and
Yeah,
um,
good.
from the 10RC. Just to add, we are in the finishing stages of completing a frontline worker wellness toolkit that that has resources. It will have resources for not only frontline workers, but there will also be information for like organizational leadership and things like that. Also, our quarterly networking meetings this year will cover a lot of sort of like micro trainings on um, uh, questions that come up around like the workplace, trauma-informed care in the workplace, and things like that. Also, our dates for the full Tending the Roots trainings, which we provide in all regions of the state, including there are other partnerships and other trainers that will be conducting trainings as well, but there will be opportunities to participate in the full training. And I think Zachary gave a great like overview of like how the training kind of looks in general. It is like typically delivered like over the course of like multiple days. It is like somewhat flexible. So there will be trainings posted very soon on our website. Great reason to sign up for our newsletter because you'll get alerted. You'll be the first to know. Just want to throw all
Right.
that.
Absolutely. And I can't stress enough because we got a note here in the Q&A that essentially, can we focus on, the support aspect of trauma informed care rather than, or not so much the um that the where was I? The screen reader totally distracted me. But the point being is that uh this is just a 1 hour sort of commercial, if you will, for the TNIRC and for what Zach does at the Center for Independence of the Disabled New York. And I know there's just no way that we could have gotten to
Oh yeah.
everything. So we'll talk offline to figure out doing this more as sort of a series if that's something both of you would be interested in. So we did get a question. Has the Josh, this is directly for you. Has
Oh
the
yes, it is. Well, I got the
TNIRC coordinated with the Alliance for Rights and Recovery?
I know that we represented. I wasn't able to attend, but my colleague was at the conference last year. And I believe we ran into some scheduling issues. Our conference usually takes place in October. Now we're in September for this year. I'm not sure if there will be date conflicts, but I do know that they were around the same time last year. But we were at the Alliance conference last year. I was not, but my colleague Denise was. So we try to represent there if we can make the dates work.
for sure. And like I said, everyone who receives the recording and the slides um, will be connected to both Zach and Josh. So feel free to make those outreaches as you see fit. Let's see. We've got okay. Um, there's a question here. Is the slideshow available without attending the training? I'm not quite sure what this question is referencing. Oh, I get for the webinar. Um, I I will get back to you on that because I still need to figure out with Josh and Zach how widely we can share these slides. Admittedly, um, there's been a lot happening here, and that was a logistic that fell through the cracks. So
Yeah,
stay tuned.
I can
I'll
answer
be up.
that. I
Go
can
ahead.
answer that question. I can absolutely share my slides because the slides that were shown are part of the entirety of the actual Tending the Roots of training. We most likely would be unable to share those slides in their entirety. I would say there's a 99.9% chance of that.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
encourage I would encourage like people to keep an eye out for the actual training dates. We're also available. There are trainers all over the state, including Zachary. We are like able to, we're very flexible. If people have have a training need for their organization, we are able to accommodate and talk. I encourage anyone who's interested to either reach out to me or Zachary, and we can connect you to our like our coordinator who is who's like our lead on scheduling and also training the trainers as well.
Okay. Actually, the person just clarified in the Q&A a minute ago and said Zach's presentation. So feel free to chime in on that. Actually, before we do, um, there's a question about the cost to attend the training.
All of our everything associated with the New York State Trauma Informed Network and Resource Center, including the Tending the Roots training, are free of charge.
Fantastic. So there's a question about scholarships. We don't need to worry about that because, well, they're free. One of the
Everything.
few things,
Our
one of the few
conference.
things in this world that is, except probably your conference.
It's
Um,
got to get there, but the conference itself also free.
yeah. Okay, we are getting to the end of our time here. So, any last questions here before we sign off that can be answered pretty quickly here? Signing up for the free training that can be done on the TNIRC website, I do believe, which is tnirc.org, correct?
Yeah, so our trainings it is traumainformedny.org.
Oh,
Um,
traumainformedny.org. Thank you.
and
Yep.
we will be posting dates very soon. We're still in the process of ironing out locations and dates for our Tending the Roots training. The best way to be the first to know is to sign up for our newsletter.
Right. Which you can do right there on the
Right on the front
website
page.
at
Yep.
Trauma Informed New York. That's traumainformedny.org. Let's see. Again, that is Trauma Informed New York. That's traumainformedny.org to sign up for the trainings. Thank you all so much, Zach and Josh. Fantastic presentations.
Appreciate it.
I really appreciate having the opportunity to learn more about trauma from both of you. Like I said, I'll get the recording and slides out to everybody later this week and connect you guys on that email as well. There will also be a survey, so that accompanies the webinar, which I'll be sharing as well with the recording and slides. So with that, we are out of time. Thank you all so much, and have a great rest of the day. And our March webinar, I'd be foolish not to plug this. It is with the New York Respite and Care Coalition. That's a part of the New York State Office for the Aging. That's happening on March 4th. More information will be hitting your inbox about that here in the coming days. So with that, we're flat out of time. Thank you all very much and have a great rest of the day.
Thanks a lot, everyone.